Alright, so Esper Law. Law and Esper Law refers to rule of law here. Each player can only play one spell per turn. So this effect, coupled with Teferi Time Raveler, means that your opponent only gets one spell per turn cycle, which is extra obnoxious, especially when you take into account that we have effects like Teferi and Tyrant Scorn and Callous Dismissal and Dream Eater that bounce our opponent's cards back to their hand. We tie the room together with a big Tef and a couple of God-Eternal Kefnets to generate some card advantage. We played a blue-white version of this deck previously on stream, but it was really funny. So hopefully a small black splash still gives us some reasonable gameplay here. Obviously adding some good cards in. Hey, Whipping Rhinos. Thank you for the 2/3 of your support. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good day wherever you're at. This deck, when we played the last one, Unclean was a good way to describe how it felt. Retire the draft. Maybe I want to finish the draft at some point. I'm 4-0 in that draft. If I play the last match, I get 300 gems. This hand's great. Good and bottom. This Glacial Fortress. I'm going to keep the guaranteed 4th land with the Drawn from Dreams in my hand. I could get greedy and bottom it with the Surveil, but I think I want the guaranteed extra land. I think it's just Risen Reef here, actually. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, if you don't enjoy playing limited, getting enough cards to start playing in constructed events is a good plan. Because if you go 2-2 in constructed events, you make a small profit. Anything better than 2-2, you obviously make a bigger profit. Grab a land and a friend here. Dig Through Time is a really good card. You're not wrong. Fish Through Time is also great. Yeah, Anna, it was a smoking dumpster fire. The Bridgevine decks I don't find fun. Sweet, they're not even committing Omnath to the board because I don't want it to die to Othakaya. So we just get to go ahead and play land, stick Teferi here. You buy booster packs, fangirl. It's gonna be a pretty quick Scapeshift here. Need to find another discard spell or a time wipe. Now the problem with the Scapeshift is that it leaves Field of the Dead's in play. Sweet. I'm pretty sure I put copies of Unmoored Ego on our sideboard. Did Past Jeff do that? Damn it, Past Jeff.
Let's skip to the good part.
one slipped my mind when I was building a sideboard yesterday. It's been a hot second since we didn't play against a lot of Scapeshift yesterday, so just like wasn't on the list of things I was thinking about. Leave my Teferi alone. He didn't do anything to you. Drawn from Dreams is such a sweet card. Looking forward to that being card advantage of choice in the next format. Wee woo, it's the fun police, yep. Not super surprised to see Cheeto Fingers come into play here. Teferi's getting dangerously close to alting. This route with the Omnath lets them draw 2 cards here. And there's a Field of the Dead.
No time for a break.
Oh, these are pretty bad. I guess I'm gonna do this.
Trust me, you'll thank me later. Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
The first Drawn from Dreams had a Rule of Law in it. I just skipped over it because I needed a 5th land and a Teferi. The fact that I don't have Ego in my 75 probably means this matchup's impossible. Actually, in fact, I'm just gonna concede the match and add some Egos to my sideboard. This got bumped yesterday, so I threw a sideboard together really quickly. And I didn't have Scapeshift on the mind while we were doing it. Decks like that just go way over the top of anything a deck like this can do without Ego to take out their lands. Yeah, Modern was a steaming dumpster fire this morning, Zanman. And it takes too long to get cards for a new Modern deck, so when Modern's a dumpster fire, we just start standard early. So Fenris, Ashiok is the problem with Ashiok is that the opponent's decks, like especially my opponent's deck that has like creatures, they can just attack Ashiok down in addition to burning Ashiok out. And then past that, they can also just like make their land drops and make zombies. And decks like this one don't beat just like every land drop making a 2/2. So actually taking all the Fields of the Dead out of their deck is much better than the alternative. No, it's 1,200 gems to foil a mythic. I just need land drops. I guess Teferi's gonna draw me an extra card. Did I just skip playing a land? No, this is a different match. This is a different match against the same archetype. I was like, wait a minute, were we on the play? Because we just lost, but we didn't actually lose, right?
I'm known for my excellent timing. That's more like it.
Hey, Tofu, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Oh, you know what? I should Thought Erasure first so I can try and hit my land drop. I don't think it really matters overall. Yeah, I would have hit my land drop. I think we're probably just dead to these fields making 2/2s. I mean, you shouldn't get irrationally angry about field. You should just stop playing bad decks. Like, you're not upset that field exists. You're upset that the deck that you want to play is bad. That's the reality of the situation, almost certainly. Field, like most things, restrict. Not being able to interact with the card on the table is pretty... I mean, every deck can play Field of Ruin. There's also Assassin's Trophy. So, like, there are a number of ways you can interact with this thing. You're just not playing them because your deck is bad. You can also kill them before they get to that point. There's Haphazard Bombardment. Yep. There's lots of ways to interact with these things. You're playing a bad deck, so you can't interact with them. In comparison to things like Command the Dreadhorde and Mass Manipulation, I think Field of the Dead is much less obnoxious than all those other things. Well, if we would have hit a land drop there, we would have gotten to cast Time Wipe and live, but we didn't. You know, Esper missed land drops, insert meme here. Like, if I hit my land drop there that game, we're probably in a very good spot, right? If we just hit that land drop, but we didn't, so we died. Just how it goes. I'm gonna cut these Kefnets actually in this matchup. Maybe I just cut one. He doesn't work against their 3-mana Teferi. Someone asked about Flame Sweep and Feather. Yeah, my current Feather list on the website has 2 Flame Sweeps on the sideboard. Azcanta obviously needs a blue land, but I've got 17 blue lands in my deck, and I've got some scry lands here. If we get to curve Thought Erasure into Ego, we'll be in a good spot. So, I think the risk of keeping this hand is proportional to the upside if it hits, so it's a reasonable keep. Perfect. Surveil into an untapped land and be on our way. They're gonna get to put Field of the Dead into play next turn, which kind of sucks. I think I just take the Rejuvenator here. What sets are rotating out? The 4 oldest sets. Yeah, I've not... Red deck's fallen off the map almost completely, it feels like. Just looking for some land drops here. Maybe I'm supposed to take the Veto, so that way if they draw an untapped point source here, they can't veto me. See what's in their deck. So they've got Elvish Rejuvenators, 1 Krasis, 2 Krasis, 3 they got 4 Krasis in their field that's in play as ways to... They did have Leyline. Leyline doesn't really matter though. I have Time Raveler to bounce it, so I think that's fine. Hey, Engineer Jam, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm gonna lead on this as bait for the veto, because obviously they have to veto, otherwise their veto's no good. And then we're gonna Unmoored Ego Hydroid Crisis here. We just have to, like, not die to this field that's in play. And with our 4 sweepers post board and a couple of creatures, hopefully that'll be very feasible. Now they can still Scapeshift and, like, make a bunch of zombies while keeping their existing Field of the Dead. So, like, that's a thing that could happen. Oh. Unfortunately, we were playing Esper, so missed land drops are in our future. And then they're gonna field us off of this. And my only basic is an island, so I'm not gonna be able to cast this Kaya's Wrath till we get to 5 lands. There are 26 lands in this deck, so this one is definitely memoir material. Yeah, the power level of cards changes as the format changes, Stream.
Only time will tell.
This standard format got a lot of really incredibly linear decks that only fight on one axis, and Unmoored Ego is really good against those style of decks. So I could play Kefnet. I can also just, like, play Teferi, bounce this, then I take 8, and then we can potentially draw a white or black source for next turn to Kaya's Wrath, which seems potentially fine.
Let's try this.
Yeah, the opponent's deck is exactly why we want Ego in our deck. No, I've not replaced the Tempo Storm emote with anything else yet. We just have an open emote slot. We have 43 emotes available on the channel. Ego is fine against the Nexus of Fate decks. It's not as good as it is against the Field of the Dead decks, but it's fine. Oh, okie doke. Am I gonna get vetoed? Nope. Alright. Every... I wasn't really given specific reasons, Draken. They said they needed to adjust my contract again, and I'd already taken a pay cut when I refused to run advertisements, so taking another pay cut just made the affiliation no longer worth it. Because being affiliated with things like Tempo Storm locks me out of other brand deals that I can sign myself, right? You can't represent conflicting brands, for instance. Or you shouldn't. Most brands aren't going to sign you if you're, like, representing a competing brand. Yeah, the RF field looks great. I'm playing that deck a bunch. A lot more than just yesterday. No, I would, if you watch the video we played yesterday, I mentioned that I want to change that. I'm going to update the list on my website now, so I stop getting 500 questions about it. I just worked for like 14 hours yesterday and forgot to update the website at the end of all of it. Oh, where is it? Nope, that's not the one I want. I'm just gonna make a note to do it later. Oh.
Let's slow this down. Trust me, I have a plan.
It's gonna be one of those games where we get punished for our mana base. Maybe. I mean, like, that's a really good draw if we find a black source, right? Find, like, a black buddy land here, like Drowned Catacombs, it'd be great. Crucible is just unimpressive. Just, like, worse than the alternatives. Tamiyo is kind of like a flexible Crucible in a way.
It's only a matter of time.
I think decks like this tend to be very bad against the Field of the Dead decks. And then when you don't draw lands, that's not particularly good either. Maybe I'm supposed to bounce the Lava Runner there because the 1/1 can trade with this 2/1. Is Legion's End a reasonable card now? I think if you're combining Legion's End with pressure, so for instance, a lot of the vampire decks have been playing Legion's End in them because they just need like that 1-turn window where they can clear the zombies and attack for lethal. But like, Legion's End as your only game plan is definitely not good enough. And like the other thing too is like people just don't want to sit. People just hate doing the actual work and like sitting down and thinking about what's going on. So like when people come in, they're like, "Well, how's this deck doing?" I don't know. I've played a game and a half with it, and in half of these games, for the first game we played, our sideboard was wrong. The next game we played, I missed on a color while looking at extra cards. Right? Like. So like, what's the result? Well, I mean, we haven't won a match, but like we also just like haven't really played Magic. So like sample sizes are really small. So like sit back. Anybody who you walk into a stream, if they haven't been playing a deck for like literal weeks, and they're gonna tell you a strong opinion on a deck, they're basically just making stuff up to try and appease people who want the shortcut answer. There really aren't shortcut answers in Magic. Rule of Law is actually kind of funny as a soft removal spell for Frenzy, huh? It's kind of sweet. This is way too slow. Not only is it 6 mana, but just like dies to Lightning Strike. I think we just bring in Disfigure and an extra Mortify here. Maybe Veto could be okay. I think I'm just gonna run it like this. Hot takes and sideboard guides. Those are the things Magic players want the most. Tell me what the best deck is. I mean, like, part of the reason why this format is fine is because, like, there's, like, 800 different decks. Like, people ask me, like, what's the best deck in the format? I don't know. I don't have objective data to tell you that. I can tell you, like, 7 different decks that, like, you could show up with. They're gonna be okay. There's 3 different decks that I personally really like in this format. But which one's the best? I don't know. They're all fine. Mr. Rainbow, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. What 3 are those? My personal favorites right now are Black Red Aristocrats, Naya Feather, and Yarok Field. If you want a hot take from me, I think the 2 archetypes people are playing that aren't actually very good now that people understand how they work is I don't think Scapeshift. I don't think the Bant Scapeshift decks are very good, and I don't think the Flash decks are very good. And as someone who loves him a good Flash deck, it hurts me a little bit to say that, but if I'm being honest from my experience playing with and against them, the Bant Scapeshift decks feel really mediocre now that people understand how they work and have sideboard tools for them, and the Flash decks are just like really low power level. I think the pile of Scapeshift decks we saw at the Grand Prix a weekend ago were a result of the fact that like people weren't really ready to play against Scapeshift.
Here we go.
Alright. Alright, what you working with? Yeah, if you want to know what lists I think are fun, all the lists on my website are a lot of fun. Been having a gas with them. I know I have this Scorn, but I'm just gonna get rid of the Steamkin because like all of these one-off pops of damage don't really matter.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
I appreciate an opponent who understands when things are done. God bless. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you, like, passively got to, like, cast the Wolf on turn 4 or 5 every game, your deck would be unbeatable, right? What are the cheapest tier 1 decks? What do you mean by tier 1? We don't have objective metrics to tell you which decks are better than others in Magic, really. I can give you estimations. Registering a bunch of basic mountains or playing White Weenie with a bunch of basic plains, both those decks are reasonable and fairly cheap. Are they tier 1? I don't know. Don't have the information to give that to you. Whenever data comes up, I think another important thing to mention, especially with a lot of new people coming into Magic, it's really important that you understand when you look at websites like MTG Goldfish isn't like Hearthstone data websites where it's built on reasonable data. Most of the data on a website like MTG Goldfish is built on intentionally biased deck results that come out of Magic Online. So all of the percentages on there are skewed to the point that they're mostly meaningless. And give you an idea of things that are occasionally doing well, but like knowing which ones are more popular than the others in those lists is impossible because of how their data is collected. My response to you don't seem to be big on X archetype is the decks that I'm playing on this stream in general in no way, shape, or form represent the decks that I think are great. For instance, Naya Feather is one of my 3 favorite decks in the format right now, right? We haven't played that deck a ton because people haven't donated for it. Pretty much all the decks we play on this stream are viewer-submitted, viewer-powered deck lists. So, like, what we're playing here isn't like, Jeff loves this deck or hates this deck and that's why we're playing it. And in comparison, we've played a ton of Yarok Field and Black Red Aristocrats. While those are 2 of my other favorite decks, they happen to be 2 of my other favorite decks, but they're also just like decks that two of my people that support my content a lot love to see.
You should be flattered I've sacrificed. I adore.
I think we're just like playing Teferi, killing this devil.
Sorry I'm late. Don't worry, I got this.
Seems pretty fine. God-Eternal Kefnet's gonna be really good here. It's a huge roadblock that also like closes pretty quickly.
I suppose that's how it was meant to happen.
My friend is here to help your pain.
Oh. Fine, I can disfigure on their turn, right? One of my favorite of the new lands art, these ones, the War of the Sparkful arts, are my personal favorite. So which figure this Lava Runner? There's your spell for the turn. Hope it was good. In fact, with one spell per turn, this God-Eternal Kefnet's going to be absurdly hard for them to deal with. Like how I Google Black-Red Aristocrats and you're the top 5 results. Nice plays. Thanks for the biddies. Good morning. Yeah, I think that's actually pretty good, right? That lets me get rid of this without taking damage. And it lets me cast my sorceries on their turn. And it locks them out of doing that. That's such a beating. Well, we're definitely tucking that back in. That felt bad. And then this, oh, that's a good draw. This means unless they have a burn spell, they're not going to be likely able to kill this. This is a really sweet answer to Experimental Frenzy.
Trust me, I have a plan.
I think I want to just get this going. Yeah, that's nice. Look at that! We had our colors and we got to play Magic. Weird. Weird. Morning Hex. Yarok or Aristocrats, depending on how badly I wanted time to eat lunch, I would play the Aristocrats. I think they're both pretty reasonable though. I actually would bet we're going to see a lot more aggro on the ladder today because the ladder season ends tomorrow. So people are going to be spending today and the start of tomorrow trying to make like end of ladder pushes. Which I plan to play a number of different dumpster fires on the ladder today. So if you want to play against any of the decks of the stream title, we're going to be here handing out points. There might be merit to keeping this, just because I'm gonna keep this. If they're playing something aggressive, I'm gonna want an untapped land that doesn't hurt me. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of mountains, but I think the kind of last day crunch is gonna settle in here. So, assuming that there is a reasonable queue to play Historic in that has players, that isn't just a wasteland, I plan to do Historic at least one day a week after the initial standard hype dies out. So for instance, right when the new set drops, I'm going to be doing a ton of standard, like probably not even Magic Online, because rotation is the most hyped time for standard stuff. Fish Through Time can stay right there. Nah, probably not, Griffinson. Honestly, I think part of the reason why Historic is such a throwaway format to start here... Ha! This is another matchup where Rule of Law is actually really good, huh? Part of the reason why Historic was kind of a throwaway format to start is because when rotation happens, they want the most focus on the new set. On standard, because that's when standard should be the most hype for people. I'm gonna hang tight on Thought Erasure for now. Their hand's a little shocking there. Yeah, this could very well be a concession law. Good night, sweet prince.
Show remorse. Let's try this.
That's another bounce spell. And like, if they shock Teferi this turn, that's their spell for the turn. Unsummon is a lot better when they only get one spell per turn, huh? And Time Raveler plus Teferi's untap lets me drawn from dreams on their next turn. Yeah. Bye, Felicia. How do you feel about Oath versus Disfigure? I think I prefer Disfigure because of the resource efficiency. Gaining 3 is not super relevant here, I don't think. This seems fine. You have to shower after playing this deck. It feels dirty. It really does. Veto for Finale. Nah, I've got Rule of Law and 3 mana Teferi for stopping Finale, so... Hey, on the stack. Thank you for the 14-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. This is very close to a stack stack. You're not wrong. Yeah, there's a few matchups like this one where Rule of Law is just a good Magic card, which definitely helps this deck a lot. I think I'm just taking Charter Course here. Do I think I'll play Brawl when it comes to Arena? I don't think so. It's not in my current plans, at least. I think Brawl is very likely to just be best of one, and I generally speaking don't enjoy playing best of one Magic. If both Historic and Standard are bad, we might dip into Brawl. But I think while we have what we have at the moment, it'll not be at the forefront of everything for me. Now this is interesting. Because I took the Charter Course with the Thought Erasure, they could cast Finale this turn, which would let them ditch a Phoenix and get that back into play. I have the Despark to answer it though, so that's nice. You're now my second longest lasting relationship. Thank you for the 16 months, AGH. I appreciate it. Welcome back. If they have a bird here, they get to put a bird into play. If they don't have a bird, and we untap it and hit a land for this Rule of Law, we should be in a very good spot. They just discarded a radical idea. Well, we are incredibly unlucky, unfortunately. We were on the draw this game, kept a 2-lander, and had a Surveil, and still missed.
Ooh, let's see what we got.
Get you later, Dream. Have a good one. Despark's a really elegant answer to that. Yeah, this deck is, like, kind of more prison deck adjacent than control, really. I think I want to Despark this rather than play Rule of Law. It might be right to just get the Rule of Law into play this turn, though, honestly. I don't think so, Nels. I think I'd rather just be +2 life. Like, shocking in to hold up to this figure is saving me, like, it's only saving me 2 life, or 3 life at most. So, like, guaranteed paying 2 to maybe save 3 is not a good rate. One other thing that's important to remember when thinking about the variance on Arena is that as humans, we are definitely programmed to remember the extremes more often than the averages. And Arena lets you play such a high volume of games that it's very easy to, like, forget that you had a bunch of games where everything went normal and just focus on the games where you had a bunch of things go wrong. See, we could just get Spell Pierced here, which is potentially why I should have played this last turn. Just an opt. Okay, that's good for us. Yeah, someone was commenting on they left Beacon Bolt in against us. I think that's fine. They probably left in Beacon Bolt because we killed them with Kefnet last game. Like, we also locked them out, but, like, we ultimately were attacking them with the Kefnet. So maybe they assumed we were more mid-rangey than we actually are. So our deck's pretty controlling overall. We really like an untapped land here. Get 2 shots at it. Oh, wait, I don't even need an untapped land, because that just transforms it. Deal. Deal, Areno. And they already cast a spell for the turn, so this guaranteed resolves.
I won't hide from the world.
Hey, Jimmy the Kudos. Thank you for the 9 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I agree, Steam Flugger. Even with us fumbling and bumbling for a long time, it feels like we're in a decent spot here. And that's their one spell. Enjoy. I'll just figure that one. This is feeling like closer and closer to a wrap. Go on fishing. Be back later. Oh, you know, I could have played a Temple of Silence here, right? I wonder what their outs even are at this point. I think I have enough lands that I'm gonna take a backup Teferi. All right, this is probably a concession then, right?
I am not. Don't worry, I got it.
It's garbage time. You don't have to go home, but you can't play here. This deck is like king of the garbage time. Is this deck everything? This deck is everything Twitch chat wants to play with and nothing that it wants to play against. Return to Civilization after being a camp counselor all summer. Been playing any sweet decks. Yeah, we've been playing a ton of Blackbird Aristocrats. There are a ton of great stuff up on my website, as always. Aristocrats being one of my favorite right now. Not a committee, welcome, and thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Hope your Tuesday is finding you well. Thanks for keeping me employed this month there. It's missing a Stone Rain. That's true. This deck is missing a Stone Rain to be a full Twitch chat special. Are they about to cast Finale and be really sad? Because I have 2 different cards in play that says your Finale is going to be sad. Oh, this is a concession Finale. This is a concession Finale. Both Rule of Law and Teferi Time Ravelers say they can't cast these spells. This was bad matchup variance for the opponent for sure. We've just got a bunch of cards that just like hose their deck in our main. We're not even playing Narset. Not even playing Narset. Just had a bunch of cards that hose them. They learned something. They did. We are a teacher. We were an excellent teacher there. Yeah, this is fine. Need some land, but I've got a Scry and a Search for Azcanta. Hey, Scott Pete. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday wherever you are. Thanks for shipping that Twitch Prime this way. The last time we played a Rule of Law deck, it was a straight, a straight blue-white deck. Adding the black cards that gives you access to a lot of good spells, and I think it's worthwhile. Gromsky, thank you for the 10 months of support there. Playing efficient, aggressive decks is a lot of fun. Yeah, I think I'm in for this Rule of Law. I'm gonna go ahead and Othakaya this. Yeah, Drake seems like an ambitious deck to be playing right now. Feels like it gets a lot of hate from a lot of different directions. I would love a land. Opponent appears to be playing some kind of red-white, aggro, or mid-range deck. Oh, this is a knight. That's really sweet. This gets powered up by History Benalia. Mardu Knights, perhaps? Huh. I think I'm gonna bin this to try and hit a land. Othakai is not a bad rip. As always, the answer to will I play something Zanman is please submit the form. You don't save me time by, like, asking in chat. Forum is there for a reason, helps me stay organized. I appreciate when people use it. Marshall. I think I'm just gaining 5 here. Yeah, they haven't played a non-white source yet in their 3-color deck. So it's important to dismissal before we play the Rule of Law, because Rule of Law sees spells that were cast before it. So if I cast Rule of Law, I then can't play dismissal. Vomit. Alright, looking for a time wipe. Have 2 copies. We have Singer. I'm out. All right. As always, come on, regulars. There is a deck list that I take the time to update on your screen. Fair warning, I'm just going to time people out who are asking questions that are easily answered by opening the deck list. If you're on mobile, there's a Stream Decker button that you can click on to open it. So the answer to your question, should I be playing more sweepers? I am. There are 2 more copies in my sideboard for a reason. Magic the Gathering, especially Best of 3, is a game where you're choosing decks you want to hedge game 1, and you're choosing decks that you want to be worse against game 1. And yeah, when you play against the play to the board aggro deck, you want more wraths. That's why you have a sideboard to adjust your deck in the post-board games. This is probably a matchup where Rule of Law is just not good, right? I think we're probably just supposed to pivot into Esper control here. Probably just supposed to be Esper control here. Yeah, it's one sweet. Like I said, it's very similar to the blue-white build we had played previously. Also generated some reasonable games. Hey, we're gonna risk it for the biscuit here. I got a scry and I've got 2 castable spells. So I think if we hit our second land by turn 3, this is probably okay. If we hit the blue source on 2, hand's gonna be very good. Once we hit the blue source, we can Thought Erasure to dig for the next land. So I think this is an appropriate risk to appropriate reward. I am not doing anything today any different than I normally do Radio Jawa. I don't know that what we're doing is really novel enough to consider a meme. I also feel like what's the word I'm searching for? I also feel like we have enough decks on my website at this point that I don't really want to spend too much more money on artwork for this format that's going to be rotating soon. So it's the end of July, so we have July, August, September. We have like 2 months left, so spending more money to put more things on the website that like aren't super competitive or likely they're just another thing. This is where the magic happens. This is where the magic happens. been a wild last 2 months. I'm finally home and cannot wait to play some Magic. Your videos and deployment made it fly by, and thanks for all your content. Thanks for your service, Slayer. Welcome back. Glad you're home safe. I think I'm just playing this. It is. Esper and Miss Landrops are a meme on this channel for a reason. There's a reason why we make that joke. And part of it too is because, like, this archetype hurts from missing land drops more than other decks that hurt from missing land drops, right? Looking for one of those time wipes at this point. I've been brewing a lot with Golos, but the Arak Field deck is for when I feel not losing with Golos. It's great, even in best of one. Thanks for the support, 10. Glad you are enjoying it. That's the key to any card game, right? It's just having a deck that you enjoy playing. I'm gonna bottom this and just, like, dig aggressively for one of our two sweepers here. Yeah, not only do you have to hit your first 5 land drops, but you also need to have the exact right interaction in your hand on top of hitting all of your land drops. Hey, thanks, Joe. Appreciate the 8 months. Welcome back. I'm bouncing their elf there and getting the zombie, because this way, if I play Teferi next turn, if they don't have any other power to put into play, the Teferi can potentially live after we plus him. Glad to hear it, Red Herring. This is probably lights out. Even if I hit a sweeper at this point, they still just have the Planeswalker in play beating us down. Hey, thanks for the 2 months, Gooch. Welcome back. Good to have you around. You're not a time wipe. Alright, Despark sounds great. Kaya's Wrath sounds great. Callous Dismissal is probably a little bit medium. Thought Erasure seems fine. Othakai is probably a little bit slow. Do I want Veto in this matchup? Probably don't mind Veto in this matchup. Yeah, this is fine. There's a lot of opportunities to interact with this in this format. Especially when she comes down. When she comes down on, like, turns 4, 5, and 6, she's really not that big of a deal. Like, just a turn 3 on the play is, like, the backbreaker. The problem is that, like, if you don't have the counterspell for the first Teferi, your counterspells that you draw after it are then dead draws. Just like we drew it up. Just like we drew it up. Show me all secrets. You wish the Nissalands didn't have Vigilance, but Haste and Vigilance are such incredibly green abilities. What an enjoyable and reasonable play pattern we are experiencing. Untap blue source. Alright, that'll do. Perfect. It's one turn late, but still not bad.
Here goes nothing.
At least they didn't draw Nissa. Now, Jeff, we all know green gets everything when it comes to Magic. That's basically true. Is this board time wipeable? I feel like this board is time wipeable, huh? Right on time, Veto. Welcome to the party. I guess I can Drawn from Dreams into a Despark. None of those are Despark. Yeah, I think that's the line, Marty. I think I'm also gonna grab God-Eternal Kefnet here. As he blocks 3/3s.
Like it.
Teferi at least doesn't die to a 3/3 this turn, which is great.
The land shall conquer you.
We will meet again.
Oh, brutal. None of these are a sweeper or a Despark. Just like, saw 15 cards without a sweeper or a Despark. Listen, as someone who's cast many a dig through time in his career, sometimes you dig into 7 lands, so just be happy we got to take spells, okay, chat? Is this just a Hydroid Crisis? If this is just a Hydroid Crisis, all right. I mean, if we hit a sweeper next turn, we're actually in a pretty good spot, huh? What if I play Teferi, tuck this, bounce the breeding pool? And that means that if they ult this, they only have 1/3/3, and I think I can beat 1/3/3 that's invincible, right?
Stand by and watch. Reverse. I'll protect you.
I have a Veto in my hand. So, no, they are not going to mass manipulate my walkers. They might go after both of them here, in which case I get to veto this, which is great. And then they only get to kill one of them, which is nice. And then I can Dream Eater. Oh, wow. They wanted to hold up a negate there, and I just had the veto.
Now what? I've got it.
Yeah, they couldn't negate anyways because of this. Mass manipulation was revealed from a Thought Erasure earlier. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have an untapped land. They can cast a manipulation if they have another one. He might be en route to stabilization here. If they don't have a good turn this turn, we're gonna have a good time.
I will protect the virtue of this.
I don't think this qualifies as a good turn.
Be wary of the ground you walk on.
No, I played one spell on my turn and one spell on their turn.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Do I Thought Erasure here? I think I Thought Erasure. Just like make sure the coast is clear. Am I okay with Papa Tef? I think I'm okay with Papa Tef. Oh, that's true. I am going to get a Surveil for. Yeah, so I assume we're going to see a Deputy of Detention on the God-Eternal Kefnet. I'll let it go underneath it. We'll Dream Eater bounce the Deputy. And then get some decent blocks. That's true. It might be right to just dig for a sweeper. Because if that's true, if we hit a sweeper, the game basically ends on the spot, right? Because, like, all their lands are gone. Yeah, I think you're right. I should have ditched that, digging for a sweeper.
The land fights for us.
Alright, do I take Hero of Dominaria over a random card? This Scorn is also a freebie, though, right? Like, I get a free copy of the Scorn with the God-Eternal Kefnet? Yeah, actually. Alright, I'm gonna do that. So I block here. Yeah, wow, we're gonna win this game. So I block there. I get to reveal this. This destroys this. These two are gonna kill Nissa. And then on their upkeep, I can kill this other Glacial Fortress.
My strength fades.
They're stone rated this deck after all. There really is. There really is stone rain in here after all.
I know my responses to you need to slow down.
Gonna do the no attacks here, just in case they rip another deputy. I don't want them to kill my Teferi. We had some really bad games in this set, because we hit the bad side of variance, but the games where this deck gets to actually do its thing are quite hilarious. The real stone rains are the friends we made along the way.
No time for a break.
No time for a break. And now, like, even if they detention sphere one of these and, like, smack this, like, Rule of Law is still just, our Search for Azcanta is still card advantage for us. Oh, they're just taking that one away. That makes sense.
Hold that thought.
Oh, I guess I should Thought Erasure. Nah. I shouldn't Thought Erasure first because I could draw a spell that I want to cast more than that. Goodbye, Tamio. Our opponent is like the Rick Astley of Arena. They're just never going to give it up. We were at the tail end of this deck. It's going to be the last match with it. But this is game 2 and we're down a game. And it looks like we're going to get a game 3. Oh, dig through fish. Dig through fish. Fish through time. Easy. Easy. Do you think this is a concession wrath? Anybody else think this is likely a concession wrath?
Keep up the pace.
Woohoo! It's even better. It's even better than Kaya's Wrath, chat. We get to pick the Dream Eater back up. We get to pick the Dream Eater back up. Puppy! Puppy! Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Who are we taking? Well, we're taking Big Daddy Kefnet, huh? Decline. Look at it. Look at that. Look at it in all of its glory. Bye, Felicia. Whoop. 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 Oh, if this is wrong, then I don't want to be right, okay? If this is wrong, then I don't want to be right. Okie dokie. I think I want my third Veto here. Veto, God, Scorn was pretty good there too. I want this Veto. I don't know what I want to cut. All of my cards were just like super reasonable. You want me to cut Dream Eater? I don't know. Dream Eater is like pretty good there too. I guess he's pretty slow on the draw. Yeah, maybe we just trim the Dream Eaters and put the Scorn and the Veto in. Yeah, we'll just leave 2 Scorns. Well, mine's the Dream Eater. Broke using Teferi to make opponents play Hearthstone. Woke using Teferi and Rule of Law to make opponents play Uno. Oh, that's... Yep. But I went to 6. Alright, hopefully they have turn 3 Nissa and nothing else, so we can just veto them. At least in Uno, you get to respond to the effects. Alright, dear opponent, please Nissa me. I've never wanted to be Nissa'd so badly in my life. What a tilt. I fear the Reefer, chat. I fear the Reefer. Don't tell anyone, but I fear the Reefer. That wasn't what I wanted to spend my vetoes on, but it's better than getting locked out of them, so. Hopefully we can go fishing for a sweeper and a Despark here. Huh? So this obviously isn't very good. I think Kefnet's actually good here. Time Raveler sounds okay too. Kefnet, I can search plus Kefnet next turn, which is nice. Yeah, that was neither the Despark nor the Sweeper that I was looking for, unfortunately. I'm just supposed to do this. It might be right to just go fishing for the... Might be right to go fishing for the Sweeper, though. They have Mass Manip. I'm sad that I played Kefnet. Time Wipe off the top would be great. Kefnet would play it for a... If we draw Time Wipe, we can cast it for 3 and then replay Kefnet. So they have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So I can Time Raveler, bounce the Crisis, and still cast Kaya's Wrath. And that also means I'm not dead on board.
Don't worry, I got it.
And then when we miss on Wrath, I can cast Thought Erasure. Oh, magic. And the good news here is I have 6 cards in my bin, so if I bin the top card of my deck, I flip this, and then I can Drawn from Dreams and Kaya's Wrath in the same turn.
Only time will tell.
So we're in a bad spot. We're not just dead, but we're definitely in a bad spot. I don't even have to bin the top card of my deck to flip the search anymore, which is nice. This Crisis is drawing them 4 cards. But if we hit a Sweeper, I've got a lot of cards in my hand, and I get my Kefnet back. So we have what? If we draw an untapped land for the turn, we can draw into... So I have to hit exactly Kaya's Wrath, and I need to cast this using this. Sometimes there's no Kaya's Wrath in the top half of your deck. There's 39 cards in my deck, and these are the top 7. Yikes. Yep. Oh, this deck's sweet. It's doing a kind of neat thing. I definitely think we ran pretty bad in a lot of those matches that we lost. Like, pretty exceptional. No 4 of Sweeper in like the top half of the deck. Like, keep 2 lands on the draw, scry once, surveil once, miss your 3rd land drop, etc., etc. What's the Hyper Geo on that? Let's play How Unlucky Are We? So that was 28 cards we saw. Or 4, sample size is 28. We are 93% to see a Sweeper in the top 28 cards of our deck. So I think if you're looking for something kind of cheeky, if you're someone who likes prison-style decks, this is the closest thing I've played to a prison-style deck in this standard format, with Rule of Law and Time Raveler kind of teaming up to beat people up, especially with the combination of Callous Dismissal and Tyrant, Scorn, and Dream Eater. You get a lot of things to like annoy people a lot, so kind of a cheeky way to build Esper. I think the actual deck in terms of power level is probably a little bit better than our matches in this